Your life isn't broken because of circumstances. It's broken because you keep making deals with your weakness. You don't need another motivational quote. You need brutal truth that punches your ego and demands action. If you're tired of being stuck, tired of your own excuses, this is your wake-up call. Fix your mind or stay exactly where you are. Hey warrior, yes, I'm talking to you, the one who's done pretending everything is fine. You've tried so hard to fix your life. You've read the books, made the vision boards, watched all the motivational reels that flood your feed. You've tried journaling, goal setting, being more positive. But if you're honest, none of it lasts long. It fades and you fall back. Why is that? Just pause and think about this. Two men lose their jobs on the same day. One blames the world. He curses his boss, sinks into frustration, and spirals into depression. The other wakes up earlier the next morning. He sharpens his skills. He turns the setback into a reason to level up. Same event, totally different outcomes. Why? It's not about luck. It's not even about what happened. It's about how they chose to face it. Life didn't break one of them. His mindset did. That's the brutal truth you won't hear in comfort-driven advice. And that's exactly where Stoicism comes in, not as a soft philosophy, but as a battle-tested framework for staying grounded when the world shakes. In a noisy, overstimulated culture that glorifies feelings and drowns in excuses, Stoicism reminds you that you are responsible for what happens next, not your emotions, not your childhood, not the opinions of others. No one is coming to save you. You want a better life? Then fix the one thing that controls it all, your mind. Because once your mindset shifts, everything else begins to follow your discipline, your focus, your relationships, your outcomes. But be warned, what you're about to hear isn't gentle encouragement. It's not sugar-coated advice that makes you feel good. These are Stoic rules that punch your ego, challenge your habits, and expose your comfort zones. They are not for people who want pity. They're for people who are tired of wasting time, tired of emotional chaos, tired of breaking down over every minor inconvenience. If that's where you are exhausted from living on autopilot, then this is exactly where you belong. In this video, I'll walk you through 10 Stoic rules, real rules that will help you take back control. Control over your emotions, over your habits, over your self-talk, over your entire life. Every one of these rules is rooted in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, the greatest minds in Stoic philosophy. But don't worry, you don't need a degree in ancient Greek. We'll keep it raw, relevant, and simple, something you can apply today. You'll learn how to build emotional resilience, develop unshakable discipline, and see yourself clearly even in the mirror of discomfort. And with every rule, I'll give you a real Stoic quote or principle, not just to read, but to live. Because that's what Stoicism was meant for. It's not a theory, it's a way of life. But before we dive into rule number 1, I need you to make a decision. If you're ready to stop blaming the world for your unhappiness, if you're ready to take ownership of your emotions instead of letting them control you, if you're truly ready to fix your mindset, and by doing so, fix your life, then drop this in the comments right now. I will no longer live at the mercy of my emotions. Also, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who's walking through the same storm, and subscribe for more Stoic strategies rooted in clarity, courage, and calm. But more importantly, don't skip anything in this video. Every single rule is connected, and every one of them has the power to change the way you think, feel, and act. So let's begin. Rule number 1. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible." And no one can keep you from this. You see, most people fail not because they're lazy, but because they keep making small, subtle deals with weakness. They say things like, "Just one more hour of sleep won't matter. I'll start eating better tomorrow. I'll stop talking to them after this last time." But here's the problem. Every time you negotiate with weakness, weakness wins. And every time it wins, it grows stronger. Until one day, it becomes your identity. The strongest version of you, the focused, grounded, unstoppable version, is not lost. It's not hiding in some mystery. It's simply buried under years of comfort, excuses, and emotional indulgence. You'll never meet that version of yourself if you keep giving in when things get tough. You'll never fix your life if you keep folding at the first sign of boredom, fear, or loneliness. The Stoics knew this. They didn't chase comfort. They trained for adversity. They understood that every temptation resisted, every hardship faced, every emotional storm endured was a silent victory for the soul. So now, ask yourself, when the alarm rings, do you rise like a warrior or hit snooze and give power to your emotions? When anxiety creeps in, do you face it or do you scroll away the discomfort? When old habits come knocking, do you hold the line or do you say, "Just this once"? Here's the truth most people avoid. You will never build a strong life until you kill the version of yourself that keeps making excuses. There is no peace without discipline. There is no growth without sacrifice. And there is no strong mind without facing your weakness and saying, "Not today." Every time you delay your potential, you're not just wasting a day, you're betraying your future. And just like that, the moment you stop making excuses for the weaker parts of yourself, everything begins to shift. No more deals with comfort, no more justifications. From now on, it's strength over ease, action over avoidance. That's how warriors are built, one choice, one moment, one refusal to fold at a time. It doesn't matter how behind you feel. It doesn't matter how often you've failed or how long you've been stuck. The real turning point comes the second you stop negotiating with weakness. That's when healing begins, not tomorrow, not next month now. So let this affirmation ground you. No more deals with weakness. I choose strength. Now let's move deeper into the next truth. Rule 2. Control your reactions or be controlled by them. Epictetus once said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Let that settle in for a moment. Imagine this. Two people hear the exact same insult. One brushes it off like dust. The other carries it like a wound, deep, sharp, lasting. Same words, same moment. Two entirely different realities. Why? Because the difference is never in the event, it's in the reaction. It's not the rude comment, the traffic jam, the breakup, or the rejection that disturbs you. It's what you believe those moments mean. That's where emotional chaos is born. Most people go through life handing over their inner peace to anyone and anything. They let small things hijack their entire mood. A single glance, a late reply, a careless word, and suddenly they spiral. They give their power away to strangers online, to events they can't control, to interpretations built on insecurity. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. You might not be able to choose what happens, but you always get to choose how you respond. Always. This is where your power lives. Every time you lash out, overthink, spiral, or take things personally, you're giving that power away. And worse, you become predictable, easily manipulated. People learn your buttons and pull them. You become like a puppet, triggered by the right words, the right tone, the right moment. Think about it. Do you really want to live like that? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So, how do you reclaim that power? How do you stop being ruled by emotional reflexes? Step 1. Slow down. When something triggers, you pause. Breathe. Step back mentally. Ask yourself, what part of this can I actually control? If the answer is nothing outside me, then the only battlefield is internal. And that's good news because that battlefield belongs to you. Step 2. Separate facts from feelings. She said something rude, that's a fact. I'm not good enough, that's a story. Train yourself to see clearly without emotional fog. It's not easy, but it's a skill, and like any skill, the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Step 3. Reclaim your peace. Peace doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming unshakable. It means you no longer panic, explode, or spiral every time life throws you something messy. You respond with calm clarity, with grounded strength, and you realize something powerful. Your response is always your responsibility, even when the situation feels unfair. People who master this become dangerous in the best way. Why? Because they can't be baited. They don't collapse under pressure. They don't react just because someone wants a rise out of them. They choose their response deliberately. They act from intention, not impulse. And that's rare. That's stoic. And yes, it's a trainable skill. You're not born calm, you train it like a muscle. Every moment you don't snap, every time you stay centered, every time you breathe instead of burst, you're proving something important. You are not your feelings. You're the one who chooses what to do with them. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, remember this. Their words are powerless unless you give them weight. Their behavior isn't a mirror of your worth, but your reaction? That's always a reflection of who you choose to be. Want to fix your life? Then stop reacting like your piece is for sale. Stop living like every stranger owns your emotional state. Choose your response like a warrior prepares for battle, deliberate, precise, calm. Because the person who owns their reactions owns their life. Drop this in the comments if you're ready to choose peace over chaos. My peace is mine. I will not hand it over. Now let's move forward. Rule 3. Do the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. And that truth cuts deep. Let's be honest for a second. Most people already know what they need to do to change their life. Wake up earlier, move their body, cut out toxic people, read, say no, speak up, be consistent. They know it all. And yet, they don't act. Why? Because it's hard. Because it's uncomfortable. Because the emotional noise is louder than their discipline. And here's the heart of the problem. If your actions are always tied to your emotions, you'll never build anything that lasts. The ancient Stoics didn't wait to feel ready. In fact, they trained their minds to expect resistance. They welcomed discomfort, not because it felt good, but because they knew it forged strength. They knew discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the gym for your soul. You won't always feel like doing what's right. You won't always feel like showing up. You won't always feel motivated. And that's okay. That's reality. But if you wait for the perfect mood, the perfect morning, the perfect mindset, you'll wait forever. The difference between weakness and strength is simple. The weak wait while the strong act anyway. And when the strong choose to act, even without motivation, something shifts inside them, you feel it. The battlefield moves from your emotions to your decisions, and your discipline starts to build the armor your mind has always needed. That's the turning point between weakness and real strength. Weak people wait for the right mood, the perfect moment, the wave of motivation to push them forward. But strong people, they move regardless. They don't depend on feelings, they depend on their choice. Motivation is fleeting, it's emotion. But discipline is a decision. And every time you choose to do what's hard, especially when you really don't feel like it, you're forging something powerful inside you. You're telling your mind, I don't need to feel perfect to act with strength. That workout you show up to when you're tired, that's a quiet win. That uncomfortable conversation you no longer avoid, that's emotional growth. That moment you leave behind comfort and walk toward fear, that's real courage. Seneca said it well, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Have you ever noticed how many battles you've already lost before you even began, just because your mind created a storm that never came? How many goals have you delayed not because they were impossible, but simply because they were uncomfortable? That's the silent trap. If you want to change your life, you have to stop fearing discomfort. In fact, you need to start chasing it. Lean into it. Because everything you're avoiding now, those are the regrets that'll weigh on you later. And here's the hard truth, you're never going to feel perfectly ready to change your life. There will always be a reason to wait, to delay, to hesitate. But the price you pay for waiting isn't just time, it's years. Years you will never get back. So what do? You wake up and do the work anyway. Even if your thoughts resist, even if your emotions scream, not today, even if it feels unfair, even if nobody notices. You don't need applause. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to act. And when your body wants to quit, when your emotions start whining, when your thoughts whisper doubt, that's when you push harder. Because those moments are where real strength is born. So remember this. You get to choose your suffering. The pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. But either way, there will be pain. Only one of those paths builds the life you're really after. So stop looking for hacks. Stop hoping it'll be easy. Real change, it's gritty, it's silent, it's lonely, it's hard, but it's also worth it. Every tough thing you do today creates a softer life tomorrow. Every resistance you push through now becomes a moment of pride later. That brings us to Rule 4. Cut the noise and master your focus. Seneca once said, if you are everywhere, you are nowhere. That truth hits even harder today. Let's be honest. We live in a world that's constantly yelling at us. Notifications, messages, ads, headlines, gossip, opinions, distractions. You're being pulled in 100 directions at once, and then you wonder why you feel so scattered, anxious, empty. But here's the truth no one tells you. You can't fix your life if your mind is all over the place. One of the most brutal and most freeing Stoic rules is this: you must protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. The Stoics weren't just about silence and strength, they were about clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." He didn't say multitask. He didn't say scroll for inspiration. He said focus, deep, undistracted, intentional attention. Now think about your day. How often are you truly present in what you're doing? How much time is spent creating versus consuming? How many hours do you lose to mindless scrolling, overthinking, and distractions that drain your energy? The issue isn't just attention, it's where that attention goes. Because where your attention goes, your time goes, your energy goes, your potential goes. And here's something few people admit. Most people aren't addicted to laziness. They're addicted to noise. They can't sit in silence. They can't work without checking their phone every 5 minutes. They can't stay on one path long enough to build anything meaningful. And if that's you, this isn't judgment. It's a wake-up call. Because a distracted mind eventually becomes a wasted life. So how do you fight back? Step 1. Cut the digital noise. Turn off notifications that don't serve you. Create time blocks where your phone is off, not in your hand. Use your phone as a tool, not a leash. Step 2. Create sacred space for deep focus. Even just 60 minutes a day, no multitasking, no interruptions, just you and the work that matters. This is where clarity is born. This is where self-respect grows. Step 3. Train your attention like a muscle. Practice being present in simple things: walking, eating, reading. Focus fully, even in small moments. The more you train this, the sharper your attention becomes. And remember, the world will always try to steal your focus, but you get to decide what deserves it. A Stoic doesn't chase everything. A Stoic chooses carefully. Because a focused mind is a dangerous mind. It can build. It can grow. It can lead. Your ability to change your life is tied directly to your ability to focus on what truly matters. The distractions won't disappear. The noise will always exist. But you can choose silence. You can choose clarity. You can choose to focus. So if you truly want to reclaim your life, start by reclaiming your attention, because once you master your focus, you begin to master your world. And from that clarity, something deeper begins to awaken inside you. The courage to grow without needing anyone's approval. Rule 5. Stop seeking approval. You don't need permission to become the person you're meant to be. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Let that quote hit you hard for a second. We say we want growth. We say we want strength, independence, and unshakable peace. But then we hesitate. We second guess. We shrink ourselves. Why? Because we're afraid. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of standing out. Afraid of what others might say. We crave acceptance so badly that we end up asking the world for permission to move forward. But here's the truth. Stoicism forces us to confront the world doesn't care about your potential. And more importantly, you don't need its permission anyway. You can't rebuild your life while waiting for applause. You can't transform while hoping everyone cheers for you. Because as you improve, as you grow, you will face resistance. Not just from strangers or critics, but often from those closest to you. Why? Because your growth threatens their comfort. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your confidence stirs up their insecurity. So, what do? They mock you. They question your motives. They try to pull you back into the version of yourself they can recognize because it feels safer for them. But here's what a Stoic knows deep in their bones. We don't live to please others. We live by virtue, not validation. By truth, not popularity. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." It sounds harsh, but it's freeing. Because if you're too afraid to look strange, to be misunderstood, or to walk alone, you'll never rise. You'll stay small. You'll stay quiet. You'll stay stuck just to be accepted by people who don't even understand your path. And here's the brutally honest truth. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is required to believe in you. No one can give you the authority to become who you're supposed to be except you. The moment you stop needing their approval, everything changes. You stop waiting and start moving. You stop asking and start building. You stop explaining and you evolve. So what if they don't get your new habits? So what if they think your silence is strange, your standards too high, your focus too intense? You weren't made to be understood by people who fear growth. You were made to become unshakable. And if that means walking alone for a while, then walk alone. Walk with pride. Because the road to greatness is often the quietest. It's not crowded, it's not celebrated, but it is honest and it is freeing. So stop waiting. Stop apologizing. Stop justifying. You don't need their validation. You don't need their blessing. You only need one decision. You're done playing small. That's when you become dangerous in the best way. Rule 6. Silence is power. Speak less. Master more. Epictetus once wrote, "Let silence be your general rule, or say only what is necessary and in few words." That's a rule the world today desperately needs. We live in a time where everyone wants to be heard, but few want to listen. Where everyone wants to look wise, but very few choose to become wise. And what do we end up with? Endless noise, empty opinions, shallow lives. But the Stoics understood something deeper. Silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. Because when you speak less, you observe more. You listen deeper. You learn faster. You respond with intention instead of reacting from emotion. And that's where real power lives, not in volume, but in restraint. You want to build a clear, focused, powerful mind? Then start by mastering your tongue. Not everything needs a reaction. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not every thought needs to be said out loud. In fact, the more you talk, the more you reveal your fears, your doubts, your plans, your insecurities. But when you stay silent, people can't read you, and that unpredictability becomes strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." And your words, they're one of the first things you can control. But here's the trap. When you talk all the time defending, explaining, proving you're reacting to the world instead of creating your own, let others chase attention. Let others broadcast every move. You stay quiet. Stay focused. Move with purpose. Now don't get it twisted. Silence isn't passivity, it's calculated presence. It's knowing when to speak and when to hold. It's choosing to say less but mean more. Let your actions speak 10 times louder than your words ever could, because silence also protects you. It guards your energy from meaningless arguments. It shields your dignity from emotional outbursts. It keeps your strategy hidden from the wrong ears. So train your silence. Use it like a sword, not to harm, but to protect. In a world addicted to noise, being silent is not only stoic, it's powerful. So if your silence holds weight, let it. Let it protect your peace. Let it unsettle those who misunderstand you. Let it become your quiet strength. Now let's step into something even harder. Rule 7: Own your mistakes without shame or excuses. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Everyone fails. Everyone makes poor decisions. Everyone has regrets. That's human. But what separates someone who stays broken from someone who rebuilds is whether they face their mistakes like a warrior or run from them like a coward. And most people, they run. They blame others. They make excuses. They mask their truth with distractions, denial, or a forced smile. But Stoicism demands something else. It demands brutal honesty. Not with others first, with yourself. Did you spend years in a toxic relationship? Own it. Did you lower your standards or betray your values? Own it. Did you lie, procrastinate, self-sabotage, or choose comfort over growth? Own it. Not in shame, not drowning in guilt, but in courage. Because shame traps you where you are, but ownership sets you free. See, owning your past isn't about beating yourself up. It's about saying, yes, I failed, but now I rise and I will never go back. Seneca reminds us, every wound, every scar, every mistake, it's all part of becoming the person you were meant to be. So stop hiding your past like it's poison. It's not, it's proof. Proof that you've struggled, that you've learned, that you're still here. Stop trying to look perfect. Perfection isn't strength, it's fear dressed up as success. The Stoic path is not about flawless appearance. It's about radical self-honesty, the kind that stings, but also transforms. The kind that forces you to stop rewriting the past to make yourself feel better and start facing it to become better. So, what's the hard truth? You can't fix your life if you keep editing your history. You have to stand in the fire of your own choices and take full responsibility. Not just for what happened back then, but for who you choose to become now. No more stories. No more justifications. No more avoiding the mirror. Own it all and then rise from it. And if you're ready, say this out loud or drop it in the comments. I own my past. I rise with purpose. Now, let's go deeper. Rule 8. Discomfort is your teacher. Stop running from it. Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." Let that sink in for a second. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your instructor. It's not the obstacle, it's the doorway. But what do most people do the moment they feel it? They panic. They run. They numb themselves with entertainment, food, noise, distractions. They drown the discomfort in noise, in conversation, in endless scrolling. They avoid silence because in silence, discomfort speaks. But here's the Stoic truth. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. You cannot build strength by chasing ease. The Stoics never sought an easy life. They sought the strength to endure a hard one. They knew discomfort wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You can't grow a muscle without tension. You can't build inner strength without struggle. And you will never find peace by avoiding the emotions that are begging to be felt. Have you ever noticed that the more you avoid discomfort, the more power it gains over you? But the moment you sit with it, ask it what it's teaching you, it begins to soften. So stop trying to escape every hard moment. Just pause and ask, what is this pain trying to build in me? What strength is this struggle developing? Because the heartbreak, the delay, the rejection, it's not there to destroy you, it's there to prepare you. That's Stoicism. Not about chasing happiness, not about escaping pain, but about becoming good even when life doesn't feel good. Marcus Aurelius didn't write from a place of ease. He wrote during war, during plague, during betrayal. And yet, he still said, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. That's not cold. That's clarity. Discomfort was never here to break you. It was here to shape you. But only if you stop running. Only if you choose to face it head on, with humility, with strength. So the next time it hurts, and it will remind yourself, this moment isn't meant to be comfortable. It's meant to make me stronger. So the next time it hurts, pause, breathe, and remember, this moment isn't meant to make you comfortable. It's meant to make you stronger. And something incredible happens when you stop fearing discomfort, you become unstoppable. If you've made it this far, drop this in the comments. Discomfort is my teacher. I no longer run. Now let's move to Rule 9. Discipline is greater than motivation. Build it daily. Epictetus once said, no man is free who is not master of himself. So let me ask you something direct. Are you truly free, or are you just emotionally driven? Because here's what most people miss. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is doing what must be done, especially when you don't want to. That's what we call discipline. And that single shift is what separates the weak from the strong, the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the builders. Motivation is emotional, it's fleeting, it's a spike, a rush, a moment. But like all highs, it fades. And when it does, discipline is what stays. Discipline isn't a feeling, it's a system. It shows up when you don't feel like it. It gets you out of bed when motivation whispers, stay. It moves you forward when you're tired, when you're doubting, when no one is cheering. Discipline shows up on the bad days, the hard days, the days when every excuse feels justified. And the Stoics, they mastered this. They trained their minds to ignore emotions when those emotions had no value. They didn't act based on moods. They acted based on values. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for the perfect moment to lead. He led while grieving, while exhausted, while under pressure. Why? Because he understood one thing. Duty is greater than feelings. That's not cold, it's clarity. And that's the Stoic way. If you want to rebuild your life, stop chasing motivation hacks. Stop waiting for the perfect wave of inspiration. Start building daily discipline, no matter how small. Wake up at the same time. Move your body. Control what you eat. Learn something every day. Practice stillness. Meditate. Reflect. I know. It sounds boring. It sounds repetitive. It's not flashy or exciting, but it works. It builds strength. It sharpens your character. And here's the thing, you're not always going to feel like doing it, and that's okay. Do it anyway, because discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. And when you fully master discipline, you'll realize something powerful. You no longer need inspiration to move. You become the kind of person who moves anyway. And that is freedom. That is strength. That is stoicism. Now we arrive at Rule 10. Stop living in your head. Live in alignment with your actions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And that sums up everything. Because it's easy to think. It's easy to imagine. It's easy to dream about becoming better, stronger, wiser, but none of that changes anything until you act. What truly transforms your life? Not thoughts, but action. And not just random effort aligned, intentional, consistent action. The Stoics believed philosophy wasn't meant to sit in your mind, it was meant to be lived. A real Stoic doesn't talk about discipline. They practice it behind closed doors. A real Stoic doesn't post about self-control, they live it when no one is watching. That's what we call alignment. But most people live two lives. One in their mind, where they have perfect clarity, goals, and principles. And one in reality filled with excuses, contradictions, distractions. They say they want peace, but they gossip. They say they want growth, but they scroll. They say they want strength, but they react to everything. Can you relate to that? Because here's the brutal truth. It doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. You could memorize every quote, read every book, watch every Stoic video. But if your daily actions don't reflect it, it's just performance. You want to change your life? Then stop pretending, stop posting, stop overthinking, start living it, start embodying it. You already know what needs to be done, so do it. If you say you're Stoic, then train your emotions every single day. If you say you value time, stop wasting it. If you say you want focus, prove it with your choices. Don't chase perfection, chase alignment. Because when your values and your actions finally match, something powerful happens. You feel whole. You feel calm. You stop craving validation. You stop feeling fake. That's where real peace lives. That's where self-respect grows. Marcus Aurelius didn't sit around wondering how to be better, he reminded himself. Be that man. Not later. Not someday. Now. So the next time you feel lost or unsure, ask yourself this. What would the strongest version of me do in this moment? And then do exactly that. Let your life speak louder than your words. Let your consistency outshine your need for approval. Let your alignment quiet and clear make you untouchable. Because when your actions truly reflect your values, you become dangerous. Not to others, but to your own weakness. And if you're ready to live that way, say it now. I will live as the person I claim to be. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. So if your actions finally reflect your values, then you're not just talking stoicism, you're living it. These aren't the kind of rules you find in fluffy motivational books. These are rules that cut deep, strip away your illusions, and force you to grow. If you really apply them, not just nod along, not just write them down, but live them, you'll stop being a prisoner of your emotions. You'll stop being tossed around by every little trigger, every setback, every storm. You'll start living like the Stoics did, not cold, but calm. Not perfect, but aligned. Not loud, but deeply powerful. Just pause and imagine living that way, strong, steady, unshakable. This path won't be easy. It's not supposed to be, but it's the only path that leads to real self-respect, to clear thinking, to lasting peace. So now, it's your turn. Don't let this be another video that makes you feel good for a moment and fades by morning. Choose one rule, just one, and apply it today. Then do it again tomorrow. Then again, fix your mind, fix your life. The Stoics already left us the blueprint, but only you can build the structure. And if this message lit a fire inside you, then say it now, drop it in the comments. I fix my mind. I fix my life. If you want more timeless wisdom like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video if it helped you, and explore our playlist. Stoic Wisdom, Mastering Emotions and Inner Strength. Keep growing, keep grounding, and remember, stay calm, stay strong, and keep walking the Stoic path.